Hey everybody, you too. This is the Blacklist Season 1, Episode 3. And it's the title, I don't usually put in the titles, but the episode is about this particular person called Wu. I think it's Wu Jing. And in this episode, we first start off, you see this black SUV with people in there. There might be CIA or FBI agents, and you see all these motorcycles pull up on the side of it, and they start shooting up the car and stuff. And interesting enough, after they shoot up the car, the driver's left hand that is still on the wheel, you got one of the motorcycles. They might actually show the whole thing, but he actually is cutting off this man's left hand. And then you see in a different scene after that, you see this one man is trying to encode I guess some secret information or codes in a script, the file, this file. And it turns out the reason why this hand was cut off because due to the fact, because of the free, how sometimes with, that high tech, other stuff, they needed the fingerprints in order to try to scan and decode this certain code and password. So they end up using that, and then somehow the description can't be completed of whatever these type of codes are. So they end up, I guess, calling Wu Jing whatever, and then they're saying how they need to get red for this job. So I forgot to mention the last one because, like I said, this is my last one for the night, and I'll be catching up everything. So I was just kind of rushing. I forgot to mention about the two bodyguards, the particularly one, the guy, and they were talking about the roof, the human trafficking last week and how one lady, a young lady that survived it, how they were all, had this scar because, they had branded these innocent victims with a scar who were part of human trafficking as victims. And then I think Mr. Redhead, I found out I think his name is Wrestler by the end, almost the end of this episode, ends up saying that, ends up looking at the back, I guess, in the changing room and sees actually, I don't know who the name is, but the guy, Red's bodyguard, has that actual same scar. So he was one of those victims of the human trafficking when, trafficking when he, I guess, was younger. And let's go back to here. So we're dealing with, how, of course, Red still, of course, want to work with Liv. Like I said, Tom, they jumped from talking with Tom and speaking to Liz, the name scandal, Liz, this is all getting confused. I think her name is Liz. Yeah, the nickname is Liz. And he's basically telling her, like, you have so many secrets to keep and so forth, which is interesting considering, this dude is sitting up here with a damn secret and you see a whole nother life inside of the goddamn flow. But he's playing this innocent role. Now I don't know if he's permanently wheelchair bound or he's just temporary, but he's in a wheelchair. And I think also Liz takes so she can do a reading about, I think it's the gun that he had, and do, try to get tested the bullet and this gun that he used, whatever. And because that'll be brought up later on. And so since Red knows about this particular person, now Wu Jing is obviously supposedly is considered a myth as far as I think he used to work for, I think some ministry, not like a church ministry, but he's basically, make a long story short, he's one of the bad guys, and he's selling codes and he crips code stuff like that. And he tries to get different people out the way so he can get these codes. And it was, again, Red comes up with the most interesting quotes out the whole thing. And, he was talking to Liz, and he was saying something along the line, she was saying something like, this guy is nothing but a myth. And he goes to tell her, like, well, so was Deep Throat in the G spot. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like I said, just based on Red's character alone makes me watch the show. It's a decent show and there's a lot going on. And, a lot more to, like I said, there's a lot to go on, but it's a pretty interesting show. So I'm like, I mean, I was going to continue to review the rest of the season, but, it's decent. I mean, I hope they honestly come back for get renewed for a second season. So they got to find a way to get, since Wu Jing, to get to Wu Jing and get this certain information. So to make a long story short, in between time, right before the list goes out, I think after she agrees, because first she didn't want to do it because already you got Red wanting for her to be like, to pretend to act the roles. She knows how to script and stuff and do this role, be his right side person when he goes, goes down, to basically try to get this guy who is quote quote myth, which they also said he's, since China has the one child policy, he was one of these kids that was actually orphaned and just worked his way up a bit on his own, and was one of these childs and moved out of China, came here because Wu Jing's actually here in the U.S. and I guess in the area where they're at under their noses, I think. So she first was hesitant about doing this stuff, because she's like, no, I'm not ready for this. And I don't want to do it because I'm not prepared. I do not know how to inscript or anything. So please don't ask me that shit. I'm paraphrasing, of course. And eventually she decides that she'll go ahead. The CIA chick, is back. I do not know her name, but I guess she's gonna be part of that. But she kicks ass. Okay, I like her. She obviously has a bigger part in, I guess, than say the bodyguard, female bodyguards, or either one of the bodyguards that Red has. And so she has it where they go to meet. They're supposed to meet Red somewhere because they're going to prepare. They end up getting contact and they're supposed to meet with Wu Jing somehow. And he, you know, the CIA woman has a certain like patch that's supposed, I guess, to be like a tracker. Like a see through, almost like one of those smoker to get you off smoking patches, but it's an invisible one. So they, cause that way it could be a signal, but it can't be traced. You just put a patch on the skin and she ends up putting it on there. And so first, after that, when they actually go to meet, um, down at, they have to go through the scanning process. And first, they have to, even though they kind of know, like I said, and want to deal with a Red for this encryption stuff, of course, there's a process. And, they're scanning her, whatever, she's read through. And then they do it through him, but he able to splat out. He says that he has, like, identification tag, which is in his arm. He wanted a specific tag, also was one of his certain demands, okay? But he just came up with some story. He was captured, I think, some Somali pirates or some pirates, whatever. But he was like, you got a clean race and stuff, you can take it out and see it for yourself. And he's like, oh, okay. So here's the interesting part. When they're on their way, downstairs, actually, all the way, the elevator, because he already said, like, the tag told Red that, that tag is not going to be, or not even read. So it turns out when they're going, they're not going like just the other side of the wall or anything. There's an elevator that goes probably, deep, deep enough where the signal can't be tracked. So I don't know how deep down in the basement area, whatever it is, but it's quite 3 feet, down in the ground somewhere that they have to go in. Now, also beforehand, I forgot to mention that in order to prepare to pretend this role of being, the right hand person that encrypts information that's supposed to go in Red, because like I said, Red only wants to work with Liv. Okay, it's whatever because he knows about something about fire, but he only wants to work with her regardless, and he only connects with her. And like I said, I forgot to also mention, like I said, I was doing too much. Sorry about that. But also, about they did a lie detector test on both of them separate to say, like to see did she have any connection to him, and he did the same with her. But they said to him and her, that's not really love, but you just think of stuff after you, you just say the fact and you think about, oh yeah, I forgot this. So back to when they're going down in the basement. But beforehand, see, Liz was given from the CIA agent, and she knew somebody know how to crim to give her a lesson. This is kind of interesting and hilarious at the same time because she's giving this session and talking to somebody in, I think it's Moranian, Chinese language. I mean, like it's a language that I don't know. Okay, and he's talking to her about as far as just a quick lesson description. Because Red is convinced her, like, you're a fast learner. You should be able to know how to do this. It's no problem. Just follow my lead type of thing, right? So it was funny because once she got the stuff down, and he actually gives this little like flash disk drive, that's like a certain drive that's able to still like transfer information to them, even if they don't have like say a Wi-Fi or some type of satellite internet type of connection. She can still, like transfer and communicate with them if she's just able to certain this in the the open USB port. So after they gave the lesson, then all of a sudden it was just like they were fucking with us because here you got to see our woman, the guy. They're like, yeah, also Uranians or whatever. I don't want to mispronounce the language, but it turns out that he knew English all along, and she says that they just just talking their own way. But I know this is off the subject, but speaking of language stuff like that, it's interesting. One of the main programs is they have sign language, and it's amazing. Sometimes I haven't seen it recently this semester yet, but I've seen on off couple. This is my 5th year there, but it's amazing once people find out, or even just knowing sign language. You should just see how people all of a sudden, oh, sign language, and they just give it a go. So it's amazing how people like to talk in code just because you have your own secret, code that you talk to people. It's interesting to see because I've seen a couple of times like, oh, you take in sign language or you blah blah blah, this, and they'll start getting it going, and it's amazing because you don't know this, sign language, you don't know what the hell they're saying. Okay, back to original scheduled programming, or back to the original review. Now, Liz, while they're talking and stuff on this particular lab site, she's able, because, like I said, they lost signal. Now, they were able, before they had the signal, I forgot to mention, some guy, because of that patch, they had to decode, because when they were scanning Liz fingerprint, they didn't scan, Reds before they went down to the elevator. The guy did that, was, doing the security and so forth. So that way she wouldn't be matched. The guy was able, some guy, to get into the database and like stop it, so that way Lives and Red's cover wouldn't be blown. And then so afterwards, that they were able to stop that. But see, this signal thing was up to Liz and Red to stop it. So they were able, when they were talking, whatever. Now, first there's some Red, but there's a van outside, and like I said, Red is just playing this like, I don't know, who is that? Who is that, FBI? Because he has to pretend like, of course, that he's not associated with FBI, and of course Liz has to do the same thing. And so, anyways, Liz at this time being is able to, I guess, slide against this man's particular laptop, and it uses the little, the ribbon flash drives, and is sending information about, trying to get information and send information to, the CAI FBI team. And apparently the next target in hand is this architect. And the reason why he's a target is, even though he's an architect, the problem is that he has helped CIA with some type of information, and that's why they want to take him off, and often send him to the afterlife, basically. So she sent some information, and right after she finished up the coding, whatever she does, that has to do with description, coding, all this other computer, lingual and so forth. They're getting ready to go back up the elevator, and I think Wu Zing or Wu Zhang, Wu Tang, you get what I'm trying to say. The myth character, somebody's name to start with a W. Okay, that's the main person in this thing. He realizes, basically like, it's a rat or whatever in the room. So he shoots up, the elevator's like, ain't nobody going nowhere. I know this person here, you were right about, the FBI agents type of thing. And, basically about to call off and take out whoever the person is. And I'm thinking, oh shit, how's Red? Red's good with his word of mouth, but he ain't that damn good, especially since they have no weapons and it's 2 against 10 people in there, all robbery strapped. Well, I'm just saying, they just go in there almost bare naked as far as any protection besides their mouthpiece. Okay, so actually, it turns around as one of the guys that we're talking about has been home. I think it's China, but one of the guys, I guess, the computer that Liz used to like to communicate and get information back and forth with the CIA and so forth. He ends up start beating his ass because it turns out that, he's thinking it's him that's like linked information to the FBI server, because he was saying like, you think that you try to be slick and stuff, but we do have a way to decode and track down which server and stuff is being used. Okay, real hacker shit. Okay, so all of a sudden, he's getting beat up in front badly, just being beat up. Wu Zhang is just continues just beating this poor innocent man's ass. I know it's always in these type of shows and stuff and scary. It's always one innocent person that's gonna have to take the fall to save the a bunch of other people. And in this case, all of a sudden, Wu-Zing, after he get finished beating the man's ass or taking a break, whatever, he slams the laptop that was used, and also what Liz used, to kind of get a signal or somehow get the information and back and forth with the FBI, CIA agents, including Mr. Redhead, also Zinger, and the CIA woman, stuff like that in its operation. So all of a sudden, um, he sees the guy looks in the thing and about to say something because he sees the little chip, the little FBI drive, the FBI little drive ribbon thing that was given that Liz was able to hide. I don't know where, but she was able to hide and use. And once the guy said he's about to expose them, so Red had to act. And he takes one of the guy's guns that was, I think, that was already drawn out. That first seemed to be peered on them, but they just have it out, especially since once Wu Zing found out who supposedly was the rat of sending shit to the FBI server. Liz already feels guilty. She's trying to tell Red like this isn't right, and it's like the fuck if you do say something, you realize we're dead, type of look, because she's in here. We need to do something. Yeah, you obviously don't want to be a sacrifice and shit because as soon as she was going to say something or stop it, they were going to kill her ass anyway. So, here's what happened. As soon as the guy notices the drive and he's barely able to say anything, he's still on the ground all bloodied up in the face and stuff. And probably internal bleeding too. As soon as he's about to say something, here goes Red. He takes this, grabs gun, bang, 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 bang. This is remote, by the way. He takes the gun and kills the guy because he knows they were about to be exposed. But Wu Zing was, then they draw guns on him, and because he felt like, okay, then you took out one of my people, I'm about to take out one of your people. Red's explained to him like, look here. She did her job, whatever the case is. You don't want to fuck with that stuff because basically it won't be good for you. And if you're gonna take her out, you might as well take me out too, because I'm gonna kill your ass. And then you're gonna kill his ass anyway after 20 minutes beating his ass of the guy I just killed. So basically, I did you a favor to speed up the process. What the fuck you gonna do anyway? And then also too is if you're gonna take her out, you're gonna take me out. We gonna die together again. So don't come with me with that damn bullshit. But what the fuck's wrong with you? That's basically, I decoded it from what Red really probably wanted to say if this was actually on HBO or some other channel like FX or something that allow cursing. Okay. So anyways, after that then Wu Zing was like, you know what? He calmed down, he was like, we can't take the elevator, we'll come out another way. So he ends up, they coming out like up some stairs, some other way. Because he's basically like, the FBI gonna be on your ass, stuff like that. And by this time, also, the CIA, FBI agents, whatever, including Wrestler and CIA woman, all their way to try to save the Henry Child guy. Because remember, that's the next target that they supposed to take off Matt. And this man, because at first he wasn't picking up the phone and stuff. He's, I guess, fixing this new building, and he has his son there, and he has his phone somewhere else. And when he finally picks up the phone, and the CIA woman's trying to warn him about, these assassins, the assassins they're trying to take him out are already, at the building and stuff like that. Because first he's trying to say, you're not supposed to kind of be taking the Reagan up, but she only did that only because, okay, this is a warning, this is life threatening. And so he's trying to hide. He hides his son somewhere under some cover or something like that. And when it was about, I think, 3 guys that made it up there. Now you got Mr. Redhead. Now this is kind of interesting. Mr. Redhead, you got one guy who's hanging from, I think, his coat or something, trying to shoot this Henry person. And then you got this other guy, and you have this other one. Now here's how it's all up so fast. Eventually, just almost starts happening. The guy ends up falling. The one by the coat, no, I think Wrestler pushes him off eventually. But you got this one dude that, I mean, Wrestler was getting his ass kicked. Actually, he was getting his face slamming in the glass walls and everything. Okay, so it was not looking pretty. Like, Wrestler was getting his ass handed to him. Okay, because this guy that he was trying to get, it just seemed like, this person, when Wrestler came back 2 times harder, this person came back at him 10 times harder. And then there was the third guy. After the other one fell, he finds, kicks the cover, and the poor boy, of course, says, "Ouch!" Kicks him to see the human there, and of course, it's a little boy. So of course, he's grabbing the little boy and stuff like that because I guess he's gonna use ransom man or kill him, whatever. And the father, of course, is like, "No, please don't kill my son. Please, I'll do anything. I think about to kill the man. Probably end up killing the kid too, or whatever." But at that time being, um, finally, at time the CIA woman comes in just right time, right before he's about to shoot the dad and possibly the little innocent boy. I mean, they're both innocent, but you get what I'm saying. And he ends up, the CIA woman comes in time to shoot um the dude and kill him. And I honestly forgot, but finally Wrestle won the fight. I don't know if he killed him or threw him off the building. I forgot with the third guy, but basically the guy was able to stop kicking Wrestler's ass. But he eventually, was able to be defeated. I'll just leave it as that. So, and what's happening is that um Wu Zing drops him off because Red requests that that him and Liz are be dropped off in some shade somewhere. And by the way, I forgot to mention another part that I felt was important because this seems like another storyline that's going to be intertwined later on in the season or next season or the season after that. Now, Tom is, they have a good friend that's taking him to physical therapy, and when they leave, and you see this man in the background. You don't see his face; he's anonymous, but you see him from the back area. And as far as turns his back turns, all you just see is the back of his body. And he is standing outside of Liv's and Tom's apartment or townhouse, and he's eating an apple. And then also you see all about 7 or 8 people up there breaking in and breaking in their house and stuff, and then planting all these cameras. And then they didn't have to hide because here comes the friend coming in the house and stuff. Well, then she heard a noise because they did try to hide. So a couple of them were strapped. And, I think they all were strapped. So she up there got nerves to say, "Is anybody there?" Now you know damn well if Liz is not there. I think Liz has a car. I think no, they share a car. Well, I don't think Tom is driving that moment. And what I'm saying is that if you think somebody's in there and even though you're getting a purse, I don't think this woman had a weapon. My ass wouldn't. As soon as I take the fuck off. I'm just saying. She was staying there a little too long. Thank goodness they didn't hurt the lady or nothing like that. So they get the heck out of there after they finish the equipment and whatever. That gets brought up in a couple more minutes. Okay. So after they're in, the vehicle and stuff get dropped off, you got Red feeling really kind of bad because he feels like my job is to help getting people off the blacklist, and this person's probably on the way to, Wu Zing is probably on the way to Beijing right now. And then, Liz did something smart, and because what she did, the FBI first, you got Red's entourage / security picking him up in some car, and it turns out all the FBI was able to find Beijing, Wu Zing, Zigzag. Because I forgot his name, and I don't know how to pronounce it, but Wu Jing was not able to get away because it turns out that Liz, remember that patch I was talking about earlier? Liz takes her patch off and puts it on the car. And since they're no longer down in the ground or anything, that means that she again, or whoever is, can be detected. So they were actually able to catch this, this um the myth and the legend and the real actual person of Wu Zing. Okay, so at the end, make a long story short, wrestler, Mr. Redhead Man, Mr. I was getting my ass handed to me this episode, finally admits that he actually did have his doubts and then wanted to apologize how the way someone gets he treated Liz at first, but he realized she did very good today. And he could have, he was glad that you should be proud of yourself, whatever went down today, because you did a good deed, you did a good job, considering the circumstances, and you were still able to pull that off and then get this situation solved and get this case off and get the villain that we needed and capture his ass. I'm proud of you, type of thing. But before, I think it was right after that, Liz of course was talking to yeah, this is after, a little bit after Wu Jing was captured, and Liz was saying like, you know what? Red, you didn't have to kill that man. And then your Red was like, yes, I do, because I have to protect you. When it comes down to you, I have to protect you. Because the only reason why she also ended up, I forgot to mention earlier, that she would do this case and go under this because she wanted the question to be answered. And he did answer, and it's like, because she asked something about the father, because he said he's protecting because it has something to do with her father. Okay. So now you kind of have to wonder, is the father man with the apple? Like I said, and that's the only question he was able to answer, and that was that. Because she was saying, like, I have people to go home to, I have a life, but you have nobody but yourself. But he says, like, I have you. So, like I said, we don't know he's an uncle or family friend or something, or owes his dad favors. We don't know what the hell's going. Like I said, that's why we have to keep watching as viewers in order to see what the fuck is going to go on. Okay, now when she gets home, there's a party for Tom. Tom wants to apologize. I understand that you have to be, like to keep your job secret. I want to apologize, and then he gets whizzed away because he's about to eat some lasagna or something. And somebody's taking his wheelchair into the room because they're all about to eat lasagna and shit. But what I'm saying is that it's just so interesting that he's trying to like pretend this innocent route and make it seem like he is like just this innocent teacher and stuff like that. I understand that he's playing a role and trying to uncover, but it's interesting how he's trying to pass off, like Liv isn't the one in denial or in secrecy, and he's the one. And you just see at the end. First, you see, of course, again, Red at one of his exquisite hotel stays, and while he's eating, there's a little pink letter that has these, three Japanese, Chinese, or something letters, description letters, and he opens up the letter, and there's three, um, well, four, three, no, it's three letters on the Chinese. It's late at night, y'all. It's 3:18. I'm trying to get this last video, so bear with me here. Okay. There's 6 numbers on there, and it's 04 something whatever, but it's obviously a type of code. That's the only thing on this letter are these 6 digits, okay? And then it cuts to, like I said, to that party scene, and then after, they risk time away for lasagna as a welcome back, I'm glad you're okay type of party, and they invite all the friends, family. All of a sudden you see the man, we can't see his face, but just back here, with the apple and stuff, and he's across the street. You see all the people. Remember, I was telling you just not too long ago about all these men, up here like putting all these cameras and shit, and breaking home and putting all these cameras and shit all across the house. And this man is watching. All he sees is none of them. That man obviously loves apples and keeping his fiber in. So we don't know who Mr. Apple is. That's all I'm gonna call Mr. Apple until further notice. So Mr. Apple. Now we got another thing is who is Mr. Apple and why is he watching this one lives in a Tom's apartment? What does he want with Liv? We don't know next episode. We shall see later on the end. Alright, I'm tired as hell, y'all. I'm done catching up on my shows. Have y'all have a good night, a happy morning, and a happy evening. Take care, everybody.